Symphony of the Night does not just hide secrets. It quietly hands you the tools to break Dracula's castle, then waits to see if you notice. In one route, Alucard loses everything to death. In another, he keeps the whole starting kit. In one route, Richter is the ending. In the real route, Richter is a trap. This is the tricks, tips, cheats, hacks, and glitches guide for SOTN. The useful stuff comes first, the dangerous stuff comes later, and the footage will follow the exact idea being explained. Items when we talk items, bosses when we talk bosses, maps when route logic matters, and real glitch footage when the castle starts bending. Start with the prologue because the game is already testing you before Alucard wakes up. If Richter beats Dracula cleanly, without taking damage, and without using sub-weapons, Alucard begins with stronger early stats. If Richter spends every heart, Alucard can start with a heart refresh. If Richter collects 15 extra hearts, Alucard can start with a neutron bomb. The name entry cheats are the cleanest unlocks. Richter starts a Richter file after a clear save. AX More starts with Axe Lord armor after a clear save. The famous luck mode code is X-X V2'Q. It gives massive luck and a lapis lazuli, but the other stats are cut down hard. That luck mode trade is why the first big trick is so famous. Normally, death strips Alucard's starting gear in the first castle hallway. The Alucard sword, shield, mail, cloak, and necklace are supposed to disappear, forcing you into the early RPG curve. Death skip is the route-breaking answer to that scripted theft. On original-style routes, death skip is not just a casual backdash. The speedrun standard uses a neutron bomb, experience routing, and a level-up trigger to create a reverse shift line. Big toss variants use a huge damage knockback, usually in lock mode. Different ports handle the skip differently, so always check the version before practicing it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
If you are playing normally, the first real tip is simpler. Stop treating SOTN like old Castlevania. Alucard is not Simon with a sword. Backdash cancels space, shields block real threats, short hops are safer than panic jumps, and the early castle is about controlling damage before your equipment snowballs. The spell system is also stranger than it looks. You can buy scrolls from the librarian, but the game only needs the input. If you already know the command, spells like Dark Metamorphosis, Summon Spirit, Tetra Spirit, Hellfire, and Soul Steal can appear before you ever pay for the hint. Soul Steal is the emergency button. Movement is where SOTN becomes a speed game. Shield dashing comes from alternating backdash and shield. Dive kicks can preserve momentum and reset falling speed. Front slide turns a low dive kick into ground speed. Big toss is not a move you choose, but when a hit launches Alucard hard enough, runners turn damage into travel. The casual route opens through relic logic. Cube of Zoe makes candles drop items. Jewel of Open buys access through blue doors. Weepstone gives the double jump. Soul of Wolf, Form of Mist, and Soul of Bat are not just transformations. They are keys, movement tools, damage dodges, and sequence break material. The Long Library is the economy hub. The Master Librarian sells spells, maps, weapons, library cards, and later the Duplicator. He also gates key progression through Jewel of Open. The mistake is visiting him only once. The library is a shop, a teleport safety net, a spell source, and a glitch laboratory. The shop glitch turns that laboratory into a bank. The core version needs a sellable gem and a familiar on the first shop visit. A later version uses Sword Brothers. The menu state gets confused, the cell count explodes, and suddenly one gem behaves like a stack of 256. That is not a tip. That is economy collapse.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Familiars matter outside the glitch too. Fairy can use healing items and reveal flavor. Sword eventually becomes both a spell tool and an equipable weapon. Demon opens switches in places Alucard cannot reach. The ferryman is not just scenery. Relics like the merman statue change how that NPC route behaves in the caverns. The transformations are the heart of the castle. Wolf gives speed and ledge tricks. Mist turns spike rooms and enemy bodies into routes. Bat gives vertical freedom, fireballs, and sonar with echo of bat. A new player sees forms as keys. A practiced player sees them as movement states that can be chained. Wolf in Mist Rise is the clean example. Transforming into Wolf gives a small height gain. Mist, a thrust special, or another timing tool can preserve that height long enough to repeat the cycle. It is slow until you feel the rhythm, then suddenly vertical rooms stop being locked the way the designer expected. For the good ending, do not sprint into Richter and finish the fight. The gold ring and silver ring point you back to the clock room. Maria gives the holy glasses. With them equipped, the Richter fight reveals the green controller above him. Destroy that orb, not Richter, or you cut the game in half. Inside the fight, the trick is restraint. Richter is aggressive, fast, and emotionally framed like the final boss, but the screen is lying to you. Use the holy glasses, keep distance from his rushes, hit the green orb when it opens, and let the story continue instead of ending the run early. That one decision flips the entire structure. Beat Richter wrong and the castle ends early. Break. Shaft's control in the inverted castle appears, turning the map upside down and asking whether you actually learned the first castle. It is not bonus content. It is the second act, with different enemies, relics, bosses, and routing pressure.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
The inverted castle is also where the power curve gets obscene. Ring of Varda can drop from Paranthropus after a clear save. The duplicator makes consumables ridiculous if you can afford it. The Alucard gear comes back. And then there is Chrysalegrime, the weapon so fast it turns walking into a blender. Chrysalegrime farming is simple in theory and hypnotic in practice. Go to the Forbidden Library, hunt Schmoose, and keep resetting the room until the drop appears. Its attack ignores the normal standing slash rhythm, hitting multiple times while Alucard moves. Once you have it, many boss strategies become optional. The other famous power spike is Shield Rod tech. Shield Rod and Mablung Sword can activate special effects with equipped shields. Some shields create projectiles, some summon effects, and some change defense or damage. The important lesson is that a shield is not just passive armor in SOTN. With the right weapon, it becomes a spell. Alucard Shield plus Shield Rod is the nuclear version. Activate the shield spell, hold the shield into an enemy, and it drains, heals, and hits with absurd force. Galamoth, one of the scariest bosses in a normal run, can melt in seconds. It is legal game behavior, but it feels like a cheat code. For normal castle bosses, play the matchup, not the health bar. Slogger and Gaban punish sloppy jumps, so clear the ground and watch the air pattern. Doppelganger copies your confidence back at you. Hippogriff wants controlled vertical movement. Minotaur and Werewolf are safer when you stop standing between them and start owning one side. Olrox, Succubus, and Grand Falloon ask different questions. Olrox is about waiting out magic and punishing the vampire form. Succubus is less about damage and more about avoiding the dream room chaos. Grand Falloon looks huge, but the body shell is the puzzle. Peel the corpses away, then commit damage to the core. The reverse bosses punish lazy overconfidence. Death is no longer just a cutscene thief, he is a real boss. Galamoth tests whether you have lightning protection, shield rod knowledge, or patience. Beelzebub is disgusting, slow, and dangerous because the room fills with contact damage. In SOTN, gear checks often look like boss fights. The Vlad relic bosses are the endgame spine. Tooth, Rib, Ring, Heart, and Eye of Vlad all push you toward Shaft and Dracula. If you are routing casually, mark those rooms on the map. If you are routing fast, every detour has to justify itself against movement tech, item power, and how much safety you really need. Map completion is its own obsession. The visible target is 200.6%. Hidden rooms, breakable walls, bat tunnels, missed gates, and upside-down equivalents all count. The practical tip is to compare the normal and inverted maps like mirrors. If one side has a suspicious blank, the other side is probably telling on it. Now for hacks. Game Shark and emulator codes can give infinite health, gold MP items, walk-on air, or forced equipment. Use them as lab tools, not as your main file. They are great for practicing Galamoth, testing shield rod combinations, or filming a trick, but they erase the resource puzzle that makes SOTN satisfying. Richter Mode and Axe Lord Armor are better remix cheats because they change the game without replacing it. Richter turns SOTN into a movement and combat challenge with no Alucard equipment economy. Axe Lord Armor is slower and sillier, but it recontextualizes rooms you thought you understood. Both are worth trying after a clear save.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Glitch categories matter because not every cool trick belongs in every run. The speedrun community separates movement tech, major skips, minor glitches, and save corruption for a reason. Death skip, shot glitch, floor clip, Richter skip, relic skip, half-blood tech, and reverse shift line tricks can completely rewrite what completion means. Richter skip is the obvious warning label. It can bypass the intended holy glasses route and push the game into states a casual player is not meant to touch. The footage looks simple because the setup is practiced, but the risk is real. Wrong position, wrong timing, or wrong version can mean dead air, wasted time, or a soft lock. Reverse shift line and relic skip are deeper cuts. The basic idea is that room transitions, level up states, relic collection, and screen boundaries can disagree about where Alucard should be. Once the game accepts the wrong answer, the route can jump ahead. This is why glitch footage often looks like nothing happened until everything changed. Book jump and item duplication show the same rule at smaller scale. A flying book can become a vertical platform if the hitbox and knockback cooperate. Menu state can duplicate resources if the shop and inventory disagree. SOTN inventory disagree. SOTN is polished, but it is also a PlayStation game full of state machines rubbing against each other. If you want to learn these tricks without ruining the game, split your saves. Keep one clean exploration file, one practice file, and one chaos file for codes and glitches. Practice death skip from a setup, not from a full run. Practice shop glitch with a disposable gem. Practice boss counters before you need them.
Hasta la vista, baby.
The best beginner route is still honest. Get Jewel of Open. Collect the movement relics. Use library cards to save time. Get holy glasses before Richter. Enter the inverted castle. Gather Vlad's relics, and only farm Chrysogrim or Ring of Varda if you want to flatten the difficulty curve. The reason Symphony of the Night still works is that every layer teaches the next one. The casual game teaches exploration. The item game teaches economy. The boss game teaches loadouts. The cheat codes teach alternate rules. The glitches reveal that underneath the Gothic atmosphere is a machine, and that machine can be played. So the real trick is not one code, one sword, or one skip. It is learning when to use the castle as intended, when to overpower it, and when to break it open just to see what happens. Like and subscribe for more retro guides, speedrun history, and deep dives into games that still have secrets left.